I just wanted to put this in there really quickly. I wasn't planning on releasing this episode until closer to the end of July. With having all this time off, I've got a lot of time to record episodes, and I just kind of write down what's in my head and record it. And if I like it, I'll put it out there. But I am trying to just put one episode out a week. However, there seems to be a lot of people that can really relate to this episode. It is about grieving your old body when you have chronic illness and when chronic illness just kind of comes out of nowhere. And there seems to be quite a bit of interest in that. So I've decided to put it out early. Yeah, just to try to open up the conversation a little bit and try to build that community I've been speaking about so much and just make a space for people to feel safe to grieve their bodies and to grieve the people we feel like we can't be anymore. So I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to reach out to me at Mourning People Podcast on Instagram and share your stories and your experiences with navigating your new body. Okay, bye. Hey, friends. Welcome back to Mourning People, the podcast for the chronically ill who don't do grief right. Before I get started today, I just wanted to shout out a couple of people who have reached out, and it feels really good when people reach out and connect with you and express that what you're doing is actually helping them, and it feels really good. I've said it so many times. I'm not a professional. I'm just a broken woman with a lot of things to say and a heart that needs to help. And hearing that it is helping people means so much to me. And that's all I really want. I want to build a community of people who feel like they're not heard or not seen and who need to hear that they matter and their stories matter. So a shout out to Lynn, who reached out on Instagram and shared a little bit of her grief story with me. And I'll be holding that with me today. Thank you so much for listening. And another shout out to Autumn, who is really uplifting and probably my biggest supporter. And I appreciate them so much. And thank you so much for being here. Let's get into mourning your old body. Today, I really want to hold space for a sorrow that creeps in like a thief in the night. You have no idea it's coming. It's quiet, it's still, and then it just happens and it completely catches you off guard. And it's mourning the body you once knew, the body that carried confidence, ease, and freedom before chronic illness hit hard and out of nowhere. If your body no longer feels like home, if you feel like a stranger in your own skin, then this episode is for you. I know that a lot of times I think stuff like, I feel like my body betrayed me. Why can't I move like I used to? It's not fair. I didn't sign up for this. Or maybe you're grieving the identity that was tied to your body, the athlete, the dancer, the independent one, the reliable friend, and now it's taken away. That old self feels fragile, distant, and mourned. And it's okay to feel broken by that. Chronic illness doesn't change your days, it rewrites your story. You're mourning more than symptoms, you're mourning a life you're not living anymore. By no means am I professional, but psychological research calls it loss-oriented stressors, grieving the loss of health, function, and identity, that grief that also fractures self-esteem, body image, and worth. We have this really skewed view that productivity equals worth, and I feel like it really stigmatizes the chronically ill community, and that's a really big aspect of being chronically ill and disabled that makes it harder to accept your new life and your new body. And we struggle with accepting our new bodies, our new journey, because we're judged, because we rarely show up. We need to save our energy for the things that matter. And there's so many times in my life where I've been invited to something and I'm so excited to go. And then I just can't. I can't go. My legs aren't working that day, or I'm too dizzy, or fucking something hurts. And eventually these people stop inviting you. And it's really isolating. And it's so important for people who don't struggle with chronic illness to understand that we're not choosing this. We're not choosing to be flaky. We're not choosing. I mean, I guess it comes off as selfish to other people, but that's not a choice we're making. We're setting boundaries for our bodies and our health. And sometimes we can't show up, even though we want to. And this pressure really doesn't help. A lot of times I say, oh, yeah, I am always sick. What an inconvenience for you. It's an inconvenience for me. I understand you're affected by it sometimes, but it's not your lived experience. You don't understand what I go through on a daily basis. So for you to be so offended by my pain is it, it seems really backwards. And I really think that people outside of the chronically ill or disabled community need to recognize their judgments and really try to come at it from a different perspective, because all we can do is try our best. And all anybody can do is try their best. But when you're chronically ill or disabled, it's a little bit harder. If it's not met with compassion and understanding, it can get really isolating, and it stigmatizes us more, and we just spiral deeper into this grief and depression, and it's a really lonely place to be. And by no means am I speaking for the entire chronically ill or disabled community. This is my perspective and my lived experience. What often gets lost is how valid this grief is. It's no less real than mourning a person, and it deserves care. Your body is a map of stories, and chronic illness rewrites every path, every promise, every plan. And the day my body, I don't want to say betrayed me, the day I realized that things are not as good as I thought they were, as good as I was pretending it was when I quit my job, and I just had a stomach ache, which happens quite often. I have tummy problems. I'm one of those tummy people, and it was just a routine flare, no big deal. But after probably 2 days, I could not get out of bed. My legs were done. I couldn't move. Eventually, within the next couple days, I could move again, but I couldn't eat solids for about 2 weeks. And I was pretty much bedridden. I would have to like crawl up the stairs on my hands and knees. And then a couple days into it, I woke up one morning and I had a burst blood vessel in my eye. And it was the second time in quite a short period of time that this had happened. And like just sleeping was bursting the blood vessels in my eyes. And that's when I kind of stopped and realized my body was literally screaming at me to stop. And looking back on it, I feel really bad that I just texted my work and told them I wasn't coming back. I just really needed to focus on my health, and in my mind, trying to preemptively balance potential doctor's appointments and specialists and blood work and a job. I couldn't put together how it was all going to work. So I just quit. And now with navigating the blood work and the appointments and the monitors, all the stuff that goes along with it, I'm glad I have this time, because when they ask, oh, can you make it for, yeah, I can make it. I can make it. Pencil me in. I'm good. And although I feel bad for how I left, I had to finally prioritize my health and figuring out my new body and figuring out how to function. And the grief wasn't just physical, it was an unspoken mourning of who I used to be and who I might never be again. It's no surprise when I say that providing care for children was my entire heart. And realizing that I couldn't do it anymore was devastating. And I feel like a lot of the chronically ill and disabled community can really relate to that, because you do lose these things that mean so much to you. And how do you be this new person? Who are you now? Kind of how it feels for me. If this sounds like you and you're grieving your old body, know that that grief is real. Your pain is valid, and your loss demands space. You're allowed to mourn the functions, the strength, and the freedom that slipped away. You deserve to grieve without explanation and without justification. This grief isn't a weakness. It's proof that you once knew possibility, and that matters. I've put together just a little list of some compassionate steps you can take to honor this grief and build new trust with your body. Name your body grief and say out loud, I mourn the body I had. Recognition is permission to feel. Create small, meaningful rituals of body gratitude, practice meditation, or applying gentle acts of self-care. Adjust what you can, walk instead of run, and I mean that literally and metaphorically. Adapt the old activities to new rhythms. Use mobility aids without shame and without feeling the need to justify it to anybody. And I really struggle with this. I feel like I'm not disabled enough to use a mobility aid. I don't have any, but I do have some canes in mind that I'm planning to bedazzle, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be sparkly. And I think one of the reasons why I haven't really taken the leap is I'm scared to. I'm scared to be judged. I'm scared for everyone to know. I've hid it for so long, and I don't want to show the world yet. It's like I'm giving up on myself, and I know it's not. I know that it's validating my needs and it's giving me more freedom to use a mobility aid, but I'm not ready for the world to see it yet. And saying that out loud sounds really sad. Like, it's really sad that I'm so hung up on other people and what they're going to think of me. I'm prioritizing their comfort over my own, and that's not okay. Maybe I'll change that. Maybe I'll just fucking do it. I don't know. Seek connection. Read personal stories and join supportive communities like this community. I'd really love to be able to do a grief circle, if you will, online to make it more accessible to people. And I do one-on-one grief coaching and just holding space for grief through my death business. And the whole experience with Solace End of Life Care is me being there for you through death, through grief, through all of it. And everything that I offer through Solace is available online. So it's accessible to people. So yeah, you can book one-on-one sessions with me if you ever need some extra space. I would love to be able to do like a collective group session, maybe once a month or something like that, and just really build a community. Befriend your story. Carry your changed body with curiosity, not shame. Allow grief and gratitude to coexist. I feel like I wrote this for myself when I read that part out loud, because I was just talking about being scared and ashamed. And then I read that line, I'm like, Nina, you did it again. Why aren't you listening to yourself? A changed body isn't a broken body. You're learning a new conversation with yourself, a slower, kinder conversation. If this episode resonated, please share it with someone mourning their body, their self, their old life. You can find me on Instagram at Mourning People Podcast. You can reach out there if you'd like to. You can also look for me at Solace End of Life Care. Like I said, that's just a space where we hold grief for everything, for our bodies, our identities, the stories we've lost, the people we've lost. You are seen. You are worthy. You are home, even when your body feels unfamiliar. Be gentle with yourself. Keep breathing into this new way of being. I appreciate you being here today, my friends. Have a good day. It's a sunny day today. I don't know if it'll be sunny when you're listening to this, but it's a beautiful day today. Spend some time outside if you can, if you want to. If not, fuck it. Do what you want. You're not alone. You're a morning person. Bye, friends.